Hello everybody! Yes, that is right, I have a voice. So I'm thinking of making a series where I teach you some tips, tricks, and some game mechanics that may help you in one way or another to progress through the game. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about meat shielding, an important strategy that most players do not know in the beginning of the game, and it may stunt their progress later on. So the way I'm going to format these videos is that I'm going to separate the different types of players by class. These classes are going to be listed as Initiate, Disciple, Expert, and Master. So the Initiates are every player that is in Empire of Cats, has to be Empire of Cats 3 Moon. They've progressed somewhat into the future, and I'd say in SOL, Stories of Legend, they've only progressed into Passion Land. So the Disciples are those who are into the future, around Chapter 2, are approaching Urun Wolf in Stories of Legend, and have completed some zombie outbreaks. So the experts are going to be those who have mostly beaten around all of Into the Future, have progressed about from Nyandem to Mina, and have done some progress on Cats of the Cosmos. And the Masters are going to be those players who are beyond those of experts, like beyond those requirements for being expert. So right now we're going to talk about meat shielding, and I'm going to start with the Initiates. So meat shielding is a skill that is where you send out small, cheap, and spammable cats to protect larger cats with higher range. In the early game, your standard meat shields are Cat, Tank Cat, and Boogie Cat. They are very cheap to produce. Tank Cat has a bit more health than the others, but the others are cheaper than Tank Cat, so it roughly balances out. So they can be spammable, which means they're gonna protect all your long-ranged cats, such as Gross Cat and Dragon Cat. This is very useful for sages with enemies like Teacher Bear, Teacher Bun Bun, The Face, and Moof. So notice however, that I haven't said Nyandam or LeBlanc. This is because in the early game, none of your cats outrange those enemies. So it's best to use a different strategy. You can meat shield, but it won't help that much. It'll only help if there's other enemies in the field. The main strategy you should do with these enemies are that you should send out cats like Tank Cat, the fish variant, and Cow Cat, or any other fast units. Tank Cat and the fish variants can tank some hits before dying, so they can do a lot of damage before they croak. And fast cats such as Cow Cat and his variants are going to rush up, do as much damage as they can, and then die by the slow attackers. So you want to time those cats well so that they just don't get sniped by LeBlanc and Nyandem. So and the window is very easy to predict. So those are the strategies that you should use for those cats or those enemies. So that's pretty much it for intermediate. just use those tiny little cats to protect your longer range cats. Now on to Disciple. When you're a Disciple, when you're in a Disciple rank, you typically have Crazed Bahamut, usually at a high level since he's so powerful. So with that, you are easily able to get the Crazed Cat and the Crazed Tank. So those are similar. Those are basically just the normal cat and tank, but they're fast. That gives you extra meat shielding to deal with. I usually just use cat and tank cat and their crazed variants. Or manic in my case. That usually works out well with my 4 meat shield lineup. So, in intermediate, you will find some enemies that you do not want to meat shield against. These are wave enemies, and not in the intermediate range, but certainly can affect you later on. Omni LB enemies. I'll explain those two in a greater detail, but just know that they have their range is where they'll just stop at and attack, but their attack extends further than where they hit. So that, and most of these enemies' attacks really hurt. So what that means is that if you meat shield, you're just gonna activate their attack, and they're gonna snipe all your cats. That is not good. So usually what you should do is you should use tankier cats. Not much in the Omni LB case, but sometimes when they have a long range, such as Dabu or Baku rhymes, you should use tanky cats so that they can soak up hits and then do a lot of damage. Ones that I would recommend are Jamira, True Form Titan, the Sushi Cat line for wave enemies such as Berserk Kori and Toucan, which are red, and Sushi is resistant to red, and the fish variants such as Crazed Fish and Normal Fish, and their true forms if you have them. And also Crazed Titan works well as well. So just don't meat shield against them, since they're just gonna activate the shockwave. Although for shockwave units such as Crazed Moniko, you can do a strategy, which is since Crazed Moniko has a multi-hit attack, and she only does her shockwave at the last hit. In stages where she's just alone, you can just send one fast meat shield, such as Crazed Cat, and then she'll attack the Crazed Cat, but her final hit, which is a shockwave hit, won't hit. Which means you can stack a bunch of really strong cats, and they'll be able to do a lot of damage to your Crazed Moniko. So next up is the Experts. So then, on the Expert, you need to know the range of the meat shields. Your basic cat and his variants usually have around 130 range. Tank Cat is even better. He has 110. Why do I say better when it has lower range? Well, because they're used to soak up attacks. Let's say they had 200 range, or 210 range, and you're fighting a Bun Bun. So then what will happen is the Bun Bun, that your meat shields would stop before Bun Bun attacks. Bun Bun will come forward, hit your meat shields, but then if you send more, they're gonna stand behind where Bun Bun attacks. So then when Bun Bun comes back, he'll move forward again, and then he'll hit those, and then so on and so forth. The Bun Bun will start approaching, and that is not good at all. You definitely do not want Bun Bun approaching you. And this may seem like a weird case, but there's actually enemies who your meat shields actually outrange. Some that pop up straight to mind are the 1-1 variants and Gabrielle. Those are very... Those can actually make or break a stage, since the Gabrielles can push very easily, which means you need to kill them very quickly. Well, not really that much, but they can make some sort of an impact. So, that's all I really have to say on Intermediate. You usually have the same meat shields. You have, I guess, Rice Ball as a fast, the 4-star meat shield. That's usually it. But now we go on to the expert, or not the expert, the master difficulty, or not difficult. Wow, I'm just screwing up my words here. The master rank. So now we're gonna talk about something that seems pointless to know, but actually can make or break a stage. And that is the meat shield speed. So speed is a very, very important factor. Usually meat shields are classed into 2 groups: fast meat shields and slow meat shields. Typically your fast meat shields are the craze cats. There's not a lot of fast meat shields, but since the craze cats are such good fast meat shields, typically you wouldn't even use normal Mohawk in a lineup. You would just use dual erasers and manic Mohawk. They're such good that you don't really need one. But the type of meat shield you have can make or break a stage. So the difference in meat shield speed can do 3 things. Actually 4 things. So the first thing is that you can sync up enemies. This is very useful in stages with Cappies or in Angry Fighting. Angry Fighting is a stage which I genuinely despise into my soul, because I never knew how to I wasn't really syncing up the noirs, and that is so important. What you do is you send a bunch of slow meat shields, then you stop spawning anything, and then you send 1 fast meat shield. Simple as that. So what that does is that the slow meat shields will pull all the enemies into one space, and they'll pull them closer together. And then you will do nothing. That gives them all time to recharge their attack. And then you send out a fast meat shield that triggers all the enemies' attacks at once, which means their attacks will be synced up. I have an analogy for this. It's like a bunch of soldiers in a battlefield with claymores. Claymores, very powerful, but they only swing with a few, but they swing very slowly. So then, think of the difference between 3 soldiers with claymores that are synced up and 3 soldiers with claymores that are attacking at different intervals. So, the ones where you're synced up, let's say that they can kill 1 soldier with 1 swing. When they're synced up, they're gonna do more damage, but they already kill everything in 1 shot, which means that they're not gonna progress far. But then if they're out of sync, if they're out of whack, then one is gonna swing, and the other one approaches, then that swings, then the other one swings, and the other one approaches, then that swings, and so on. And then they're gonna progress a lot faster. So yeah, that's basically all for, there's more stuff with fast and slow meat shields. Slow meat shields tend to be packed together, which tends to do better with boars and with the boar and Aras variants. And they also progress slower, which means that if you have a strong frontline unit with a lot of knockbacks and a strong backline unit with a lot of knockbacks, they're gonna progress less. Well, that's all I have time for, so see ya!